Hello everyone, and welcome to a new video. Today we will dive into a deep and transformative topic, Stoic philosophy as a solution to overcoming the fears that hold us back from reaching our true professional potential. Within the same currents of our fears often lies a river of possibilities, scenes of ourselves living fully, leading with passion and determination. Yet, fears can be treacherous obstacles on the path to this vision. They merge with our thoughts, paralyze us, and keep us from daring. But what if we could not only identify these fears, but also combat them with the help of an ancient philosophy? This marks the beginning of a personal and professional revolution. A step toward gaining wisdom, strength, and courage to challenge the barriers that hold us back. How transformative would it be if we applied some principles of this age-old philosophy, Stoicism, to our professional lives? On this journey, we will discover that the key to overcoming our vulnerabilities and fears is not to resist them, but to understand, embrace, and channel our energies to overcome them. I invite all of you to join me as we explore the vast ocean of Stoic philosophy and its power to transform and enhance our lives. In the next stage, we will deepen our understanding of this issue and closely examine fear, how it manifests in our professional lives, and why it is such a difficult obstacle to overcome. We will delve into the common fears that arise in the workplace and daily life, an experience that can be both overwhelming and liberating. The journey to overcome our fears has begun. Remember, there is great strength within each of us. Always remember, in silence we learn, in wisdom we grow. Fear is an enigmatic, cunning, and at times disorienting entity. In moments of fear, our breathing becomes shallow, our voice falters, and our hands tremble. This often invisible intruder has a unique ability to hold us back, preventing us from exploring uncharted territories and unknown opportunities. However, perhaps the place where fear is most cruel is on the stage of professional growth. Imagine, if you will, the hopeful gaze of a freshly graduated young professional entering a bustling office for the first time, ready to make their mark. But as the days pass, they start to feel insecure, unstable. The fear of rejection, the fear of speaking up, the fear of failure begin to erode their hopes and dreams. Confidence shifts to doubt, hope to anxiety. Here we see a frank example of fear sabotaging the beginning of a promising career. However, fear doesn't fade with youth. Ask an experienced manager at the height of their career, and they'll tell you about the persistent terror of becoming obsolete, of losing their position to the next rising talent. On the other end of the spectrum, there's the fear of taking risks, of stepping away from the safe and familiar path to navigate uncharted waters. Think of the entrepreneur hesitating to invest in a new venture, or the long-term employee afraid to start their own business. Moreover, these fears are not confined to the workplace. They infiltrate our daily lives, preventing us from living fully. We fear opening up to others, traveling to unfamiliar places, stepping out of our physical and emotional comfort zones. In every case, fear builds a wall, stopping us from experiencing and learning new things. But remember, fear is only a part of us, not the entirety of who we are. Fear can paralyze, but it can also inspire change. Fear can intimidate, but it can also motivate courage. In our next discussion, we will turn to an ancient yet profoundly relevant philosophy, Stoicism, that teaches us to understand, face, and ultimately overcome these paralyzing fears. Reinforcing this channel's wisdom, in silence we learn, in wisdom we grow. See you soon as we uncover the power of Stoicism together. Immersed in the wisdom of the ancients, it's time to turn our attention to a philosophy that has served as a guiding beacon for centuries. We're talking about Stoic philosophy. The Stoic school was born in ancient Greece around 300 BCE, founded by the philosopher Zeno of Citium. Later, it was perpetuated by names like Seneca, Epictetus, and the famous Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius. These true titans of free thought, armed with a practical and resilient philosophy, navigated the stormy seas of life's adversities with serenity. Stoic philosophy is renowned for its emphasis on self-control, courage, and justice. It teaches us to separate what is within our control from what is not, directing our focus and energy toward what we can truly change. Now imagine if we could use this arsenal to combat the fears that paralyze us and hinder our growth. Imagine if we could train our minds to view obstacles not as barriers, but as opportunities to grow and strengthen ourselves. To illustrate this point, let's consider the story of Malala Yousafzai. Despite facing the fear of repression and violence, she embraced principles of courage, resilience, and justice, similar to those of the Stoics. Fearing for the education of girls in her community, she raised her voice. In the face of fear, she demonstrated courage. In the face of adversity, she found strength. Like Malala, countless other real-life stories show people who, consciously or not, used Stoic principles to overcome their fears. This leads us to the next chapter, where we'll delve deeper into Stoic lessons, mapping out step-by-step how these principles can be applied in daily life to combat anxiety and fear. We'll show how these age-old teachings are still relevant and can be a powerful tool for our growth. As our motto goes, in silence, we learn. In wisdom, we grow. So let's keep growing, learning, and navigating this sea of wisdom that is Stoicism. Now that we've explored Stoic philosophy and what it represents, let's delve deeper into some of its key lessons and how they can be applied in our daily lives. To begin, the first Stoic lesson that helps us combat fear and anxiety is the acceptance of reality. The Stoics believed that we should accept life as it is, rather than as we wish it to be. While we may not have control over many things happening around us, we always have control over our reaction to them. For instance, if you're anxious about an upcoming work presentation, Stoic philosophy would suggest that you accept the situation. You have a presentation to give, and focus only on what you can control, your preparation and delivery. Another valuable Stoic lesson is the practice of objectivity. This means not allowing our emotions to cloud our view of reality. For example, if someone harshly criticizes you at work, instead of taking it personally and letting fear and anxiety take over, try adopting an objective perspective. What is this person actually saying? Which parts are constructive criticism that you can use for personal and professional growth? Questions like these help us stay calm and keep negative emotions in check. Another important Stoic principle is living in accordance with nature, which we could interpret in modern terms as living authentically. Be true to yourself, to your core, and don't let the fear of others' judgment steer you off your path. In fact, this Stoic lesson can be a strong antidote to social anxiety and the fear of rejection. Finally, the Stoics place great emphasis on the virtue of self-mastery. The fundamental idea is that we are responsible for our own behaviors and actions and must cultivate the discipline and willpower to make wise decisions, even when feeling pressured or anxious. Applying these Stoic principles to our daily lives is not an easy task. However, with practice and perseverance, we can train our minds and behavior to respond more resiliently to life's obstacles. Anxiety and fear may be persistent presences, but with the lessons of the Stoics, we can learn to face them with calmness and serenity. Always remember, in silence, we learn. In wisdom, we grow. Now, let's make a natural transition to analyzing some practical examples of how these principles have been successfully applied. If we agree that the future is uncertain and that fear is merely a reflection of our mind in response to that uncertainty, the question arises, how do we overcome this fear? How do we defeat the enemy born from our own thoughts and imagination? Let's look at some practical examples. First, there's the case of James Stockdale, a US Navy Vice Admiral and fighter pilot who believed in Stoic philosophy. When his plane was shot down during the Vietnam War, he became a prisoner of war. Despite torture and harsh conditions, he remembered Epictetus's advice. We cannot control what happens to us, but we can control how we react to it. This philosophy helped him endure 7 years of captivity. He not only survived, but also helped other prisoners overcome fear and torture. Stoic philosophy isn't limited to survival in extreme cases. It can also be applied to our daily routines. For instance, let's say you fear public speaking. The panic rises in your stomach before an important meeting or presentation. Stoicism suggests that while you can't control people's reactions to your speech, you can control your effort and preparation for the meeting. This simple change in perspective can help ease the fear and make you more effective. Another scenario where Stoicism can be extremely helpful is when making bold career moves. Whether it's a new job, a new city, or even starting a new business, there is always an element of uncertainty and fear. However, according to the Stoics, you should focus on what you can control. You can control the amount of effort and passion you put into your endeavors. The success or failure of these actions is largely indifferent. In all these examples, Stoicism teaches us that fear is inevitable, but suffering because of it is not. Fear is merely a test for our minds, a way of reminding us that we are human. But if we handle this fear as the Stoics suggest, it can become a turning point for growth and learning. As we often say here, in silence we learn, in wisdom we grow. And to make this wisdom resonate in our hearts and lives, we need action. In Epictetus's words, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. So as we reach the end of this chapter, we invite you to take that bold step and implement the principles of Stoic philosophy in your life. Don't miss the opportunity to overcome your fears and experience growth. We find ourselves at the end of this fascinating philosophical journey where we explored the wisdom of the Stoics and how it can unlock the invisible shackles of fear. During this time, we delved into discussions about the problems fear can cause in professional growth. We talked about the paralysis it can bring in the workplace and daily life. We uncovered the principles of Stoic philosophy and discussed its power to become an arsenal against our fears. We explored the names that shaped this philosophy, softened its edges, and propelled it into a world that continues to inspire. We examined in detail the Stoic lessons and principles most relevant to our discussion and how they can be applied to combat anxiety and fear. We took a close look at how the Stoics understand fear and how they propose we deal with it. We presented examples of successful individuals who effectively applied these principles to overcome their fears, and we offered you guidance on how to do the same in your own life. Now, we hope you can apply these principles in your own life. By embracing courage and Stoic philosophy, you have the power to navigate life's transitions with confidence and without fear. However, understanding Stoic philosophy is just the beginning. Always remember that your journey continues after this video. At all times, you have Stoic philosophy as a compass, helping you navigate any challenges that may arise. So, as we move forward, let's do so with this channel's motto in our hearts. In silence, we learn. In wisdom, we grow. This is a reminder that we must always seek wisdom silently and patiently, because it is only through our own experience and learning that we can truly grow and overcome our fears. Invite Stoic philosophy into your life and watch as it transforms your uncertainties into confidence, your fears into courage, and your life into a journey of continuous growth and discovery. Now, dear viewers, the time has come to fully dive in and take ownership of what we've learned today. We encourage each of you to implement these Stoic teachings into your daily lives. See if you can accept external circumstances while working diligently toward any goal you've set. Notice the difference this approach can make in your life, both professionally and personally. We would love to hear more from you. Share your experiences, success stories, and even the struggles and challenges you faced while adopting Stoic philosophy. Whether it's the fear of failure or the anxiety of the unknown, there's a Stoic way to handle it. And you're certainly not alone on this journey. Your comment might be the inspiration or advice someone else needs to change their life. Remember, the essence of Stoicism is about learning to distinguish what we can and cannot control and doing everything within our power to live our lives as best as we can, and in doing so always in silence, for it is in silence that we learn. And with this wisdom we grow. We hope you take these words to heart and allow yourself to grow every day. Until our next video, keep learning, keep growing. ***.